Welcome. You've splash landed into this Prosecco-laden podcast, straight into the woo-woo pool with the crew of Ohm-g. We're just a simple group of tragically imperfect and highly empathic BFFs, exploring a wide range of atypical topics with humor, grace, and curiosity. This is Ohm-g. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Control freaks beware. The topic for today is surrender. So let go of the wheel and slide out of the driver's seat. You're here with the crew of
Ohm-g podcast. Welcome back, y'all.
This is Brenda here.
And this is Chandra here.
This is Camille.
This is Juan.
And Aaron.
And we're so glad that you're back and listening to yet another episode.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, I'm scared of this one.
Me too. I'm thinking control freak. I'm not going to talk first.
No.
I vote for Brenda. How about y'all?
I think we've all been putting it off for a little while. It's when we come up with episode ideas, they'll like sit for a little bit and like, oh, let's definitely do this one, or this has been relevant. But we're all like, no, I want to talk about giving up control.
And the business meeting, we're like, oh, yes, that's a good one. And then the day comes and you're like, well, so I really want to talk about that. And the funny thing is, for the last 2 weeks, this has been the message. I've gotten nothing but let go, let God, let go, let go, let God. And yeah, I'm like, it's like Gemini season over here. I just can't.
And little blurbs that say vulnerability is your superpower. Right. I mean, yeah, that's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I think this is a great topic, right? Because who amongst us has not had to learn a little bit of surrender? And also, who amongst us are not a little bit of free? So, I think that control and anxiety and all those things definitely walk hand in hand with each other. And I think when people have had trauma in their life, they use control or their version of control to feel safe. But along with that comes all of the anxiety of,
Well, and
holding on to control.
It's whatever they do have control over. Like sometimes it's food. And they end up with an eating disorder because that's the only thing in their life that they can control. You end up kind of focusing in and narrowing in on the one thing that you can.
Stop talking about my childhood.
If you feel attacked, there's a reason.
Trigger warning.
Yeah. I feel like we've all had different, specific instances of surrendering lately. Does anyone want to kind of go first and talk about?
No.
Okay.
Who wants to talk about their shit first?
Oh, let me. Oh, just let me.
Yes, the trauma.
She drew the short straw.
So there is a family member that I have been needing to have a conversation with now for probably going on 2 years. Getting the message to have the conversation. It's time to let go of toxic people. It's time to do this. It's time to do that. I never did it. Couldn't get it in my mind of like, how do I even start that conversation? Like, Spirit, give me a lead in. I don't even know how to get there. Well, last weekend, I was needing to go see this person on that Sunday morning, full-blown panic attack. My husband thought I was having a heart attack. He was ready to call 911. Like I was jumping. I was like wanting to peel my skin off. Everything was just like buzzy. Yeah, full-blown panic attack. So, of course, what does one do in a situation like that? Of course, you text your witches and like, what are you getting into? Because I just had a panic attack. What do you think it's about? And Brenda texts me back, goes, girl, that's about talking to your mama. And I was like, that's what I got too. Damn it. So,
I didn't even know should we have it.
So,
Spirit said, you need to do that.
So, of course, did I take Brenda's word for it? No. I went into my office and pulled some cards, as one does. Because when you don't like the one answer, what are you going to do? You're going to ask something else, the same question.
She's doctor shopping for second opinions with oracle cards.
Tarot readers everywhere are nodding along right now.
I cannot make this stuff up. I pulled 2 cards. Communication, control. Was it control? Was it?
I don't remember.
Wait a minute. I took a picture of it because it was too much.
Like a smack across the face.
Yes. Oh, conflict in communication.
Mm.
I was like, well, shit. So I had the conversation last Sunday.
Do you feel lighter?
No,
Okay.
Mm.
You still processing everything?
it didn't take.
Oh, gotcha.
So we've got more work to do, but
What I hear is that you're letting go, but it's just not, it's God, right? So if you're listening, God, she's letting go, she's surrendering, but
She's done her part.
Do your part.
yeah. But I truly feel like it's because I waited so long to do it. Now it's like, but are you serious? Like, okay, yeah, we had to push your hand and you did it, but do you mean it? Are you going to stick with it? So I feel like that's the...
Like, we're going to trigger you a little bit more.
Yeah.
If you really, really mean it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm proud of you. You were vulnerable and you got it out, girl.
Yeah. But I mean, it was 2 years of fighting. And finally, you just, if you don't surrender at some point on your own, the universe is going to get you where it wants you to be one way or the other.
And I think the stress of trying to hold on to that control of even not having the conversation and just keeping everything the way that it was is worse. Like, I mean, I know you're not at the end of that journey yet, but not saying the thing is worse.
Yes.
So I have an example of surrender. Y'all ready? Lay it on.
Bring it.
Buckle up.
So what happened was, I think I learned surrender through my kids. Because my daughter was hell-bent and determined on doing whatever the hell she wanted to do, and there's nothing I could do about it. And she was going to have her own experiences. And, you know, I wanted to help her and help fix her and get her better and do all the things that moms want to do. And I finally realized it wasn't up to me. And whenever I realized that I had no control over her and that I couldn't fix her, then it was such a relief. And now, you know, she was my oldest. So then I've been able to put that into practice with my other children. So I don't hold on to that responsibility of fixing them because it's their journey, their life. They're going to have to figure out how to fix themselves. So my children have taught me the most about surrender.
Lots of parents need that.
Right now, my shoulders are up to my ears because I'm stressed out about other things, but I surrendered in that area.
But that is a huge lesson to learn. When you learn that no matter how much you want to help, fix, love, make it better, someone in your life, if they don't want it, if they don't want to receive it, it's all in vain. It's not going to make a bit of difference in the end.
Right.
And that's, I mean, because you love that person, that's hard to accept.
And now she's doing it on her own.
Yay!
And I don't have any responsibility. I can support her, but her journey is her journey, just like with each of us.
I love it.
Every person on this planet. I love it.
And she chose you as her mama for a reason.
And I chose her too.
Excellent.
Maybe she came to teach me this lesson.
Could be. Who wants to go next? Me? Everybody's looking at me. Why is everybody looking at me?
You got a sense, Lena, sense.
Oh, okay. Let me just do the microphone here. Sure, today it's two class clowns together.
Cam said, do we really have to put the two fire signs together? Oh, no, sorry. Do we really have to put the two fire signs together? The Sagittarius. Anyways.
So, you know, so I don't even know if y'all all probably, most of y'all maybe not know this, but anyway, so I kept drawing this card out of the Archangel deck that says teaching and learning. I was like, a card ain't for me. But I drew it like 500 times.
Because if you don't like the message, what?
Because I'm going to keep drawing it till it gives me one I do like, right? And I was like, I don't know why that's, I don't know why it's saying that. What is it? And so I think it was, were you involved in it too, Brenda? Did we talk about the teaching part?
Oh, yes.
Yes. And so I was like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be on. I'm supposed to be a teacher. And so Chandra comes over to my house one night and we're talking and she whips out her notebook and she's got a lesson plan written down for me. She's like, oh, I think you're supposed to be a teacher. Here's your lesson plan. And I was like, what? I didn't know that's what we were meeting for. Let me reach for my wine.
As she gets uncomfortable.
So I was like, oh my goodness, she left me. I was like, I'm supposed to surrender to this because I don't know if I can. Like, I don't know that this is what I'm supposed to do. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, it is what you're supposed to do. You just need to surrender to it. And I was like, all right, well, I'll think about it.
Y'all look at her fidget right
I
now.
know, right?
Let me have a glass bottle of wine on it. Thank you.
And you can't make this up. I had a reading with Joanna the Healer last week. Shout out Joanna. And y'all, she used the exact words off of one of the cards that I keep drawing.
Of course she did. Of course she did.
Of course she did. And so I am trying to now surrender to that and step into that. And it's kind of hard for me to just let go and, say, oh, I'm going to be a teacher because, sometimes we just question ourselves about, am I qualified to do that?
No, 100%.
And then I'm like, I've been walking this path for 20 years.
Mhm.
I mean, I've never had a lot of trauma, y'all. Like, if I'm not qualified to help y'all with trauma,
Who the hell is?
I got some trauma.
But too, there's that effect of having to be seen.
It is.
The vulnerability. I'm going to be, I've had trauma and I can help you with your trauma, but I'm going to have to tell you about my trauma and you're going to have to look at my trauma. And and that being seen thing is big.
So I'm trying to reframe it for myself. And so I'm like, you're not giving up control of your life. You're just taking inspired action to go down a different path.
Look at you.
There you go. Snaps. And that's all I have to say about that.
And by the way, Chandra, when you were talking and saying that, I was like, and that's your next step, being seen.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I'm already there.
Okay.
Hey, girl, you sure is pretty to look at.
Luckily.
Speaking to Lynn's experience, that's what sorry. Again, then I share the mic, so I gotta get closer. So Lynn is leaning into teaching, and I'm leaning out. Passing the torch. No, but her teaching is different.
Not children.
No, I'm not kids. Fuck them. So my thing with surrender, recently, we all have different lessons and stuff, but my most recent chapter of surrender has been all about control stuff related to job and career. And so by the time this airs, I will have a different job. I'm leaving the classroom. I'm not teaching anymore in the formal sense. And I am so excited about it. I know there will be a grieving process and I'll have some sadness. And my husband and I get to work together now, which is really lovely. And we're both just cheering each other on to get out of the dumpster fire. Okay.
That is middle school.
That is a middle school in public in North Carolina. So anyways, there are two jobs specifically that I have been looking at. And so I'm shifting into wanting to be a librarian. And so one of them, it became available. I wasn't even aware that it was available. And a girl, she's a friend of mine, a coworker, texts me on my birthday and says, hey, by the way, I know that you're interested in, you've been accepted to library school and
Library school,
dear. What about the books? So she said, but my position is available. I can mention to the hiring manager about you, and I think you'd be a great fit, and blah, blah, blah. This is at the public library where I live, like 5 minutes from my house. You're going to be a children's librarian, like ages almost at 0, the unborn to 6. And so real little tots, and I think it would be so much fun and so cute.
You can reach them either in the phone.
That's right. And almost. And so I was very hell bent on that position, right? I'm like, I just burst into tears when she texted me. This is my job. And then I thought, of course, well, what if it didn't work out? You can't keep doing what you're doing. And so I aligned action, Lynn, started applying to other jobs that I think I would enjoy. So fast track, I get an interview, not for the children's library, but for something different. And my car won't start the day before. So that's cute. So I'm like, okay, it shouldn't be anything big because it's, And so my husband, Christian, he's like, oh, I'm pretty sure it's the battery. It's definitely going to be the battery. We can fix it, blah, blah, blah. And so in my mind, I'm thinking about the next day when my interview is supposed to happen, I'm going to have to drive you to work 30 minutes away, then take your car to the interview 30 more minutes away, and then back home 30 minutes back to get you 30 minutes. It's just a lot. And so then we make plans and Spirit laughs. And so there's a big winter storm, I guess, that came through with like tons of rain and wind. And so school was canceled the next day. Well, this job I applied for was not canceled. And so I, the next morning, get into Christian's car and I'm driving down these windy roads. And 20 minutes into the drive, the person I'm going to interview with calls me and says, "Hey, can we reschedule for Thursday?" Well, fuck a duck. Okay, like what? And then our roof starts leaking over the laundry room. And when I get back home, and so I'm like, just take me now, Lord.
Spirit has a sense of humor.
Absolutely. And I was not in a laughing mood for once. Anyways, long story short, I took that as like all of those synchronicities as lessons to surrender, because I'm not in control of any of this. And I will be placed where I'm supposed to be placed. And I know I keep texting you guys about it. I'm like, this is happening,
Well, and look at all the energy that you wasted in worrying about the battery and fretting over what car to what place to how long in the car to all that's wasted.
Yeah.
Like you could have been putting that energy toward what?
Completely.
Right.
Yeah. So that was my big lesson within surrender, is that I'm going to be where I'm supposed to be, job and career wise. And I think I finally realized like there are things that all the stuff Spirit's working on behind the scenes. Like it could be that I have a kid in my classroom right now that's having a really difficult time at home, and I might say something really kind to them. Hey, this is going to keep them on the planet. I mean, it may not be that big, but it's possible, and I don't know it. And that's why it's 3 more days until the interview or whatever. So I think surrendering and letting go and recognizing that I'm not in control, and to try to let go of any false sense of it, I guess, is my lesson in surrender recently.
So this is the message that was coming through as you were talking. Neither of those jobs are for you. And the more that you can surrender, it will just flow so much easier into your life, because you get like really excited about it and you're like, oh, this sounds great, blah, 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 blah. And then you get all amped up. And it's like, it's going to just come to you. And you just need to relax into it instead of trying to push for it to happen. So it's coming soon, but I don't think it's either one of those jobs. And it's not one of them for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm just going to pop on here for a second and talk about, I have this analogy that I use about people who are flailing in the water. And I actually told Aaron about this the other day. Like, if you're not going with the flow, you're in the water and you're flailing, and there's a ball in there that you want to get, you're pushing it further away because you're flailing. The energy is pushing that ball. But if you'll just relax and start floating, it will come right to you.
Preach, Sister Lynn. That's what I was feeling.
Amen.
And the whole church said,
Amen.
Brother Ben. So I just had a flashback to my childhood. Sorry, y'all.
Oh, I love you, Lynn.
But I mean, we keep saying it's out of our control. It's out of our control. When that's not exactly the truth. We are creators of our own reality, right?
Mm-hmm.
But where we need to put the energy in is to getting clear on what we want.
Mm-hmm.
And getting specific on how we ask for it. And having gratitude for it being in the ether. It's already here. You've just got to align your vibration to it.
I think it's almost about softening into that yin energy,
Mm-hmm.
the feminine, like that receptive energy, instead of that male, I got to get out, I got to go get it, get it.
Be productive, accomplish things.
Yeah. Your energy is mindset. Let spirit in the universe figure all the other stuff out.
Right. I want this job because it will make me feel this way. And then I'm open to receive. And then, of course, look for the job.
Right.
Yeah.
And put your energy into clearing out the crap that would stop you from being able to receive it when it comes.
Yeah.
And so much of it is trust.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Trust in yourself, trust in the universe, trust in those that surround you. On New Year's Eve recently, I saved a meme in my phone because it hit me just like a cannonball in the gut. And it's perfect for this topic. My therapist said, the reason why you self-sabotage is because it allows you to predict what is going to happen, which is giving you the illusion of self-control. And people, that is Camille in a nutshell.
I still love you.
I know, and I am so grateful for that. You guys are the beach ball in my tumultuous waters. And I'm sitting here, the lone earth sign. I've got 2 air signs on my left. I've got 2 fire signs on my right. I get jealous of them sometimes because they seem to know what it is they want to do and what their powers are for and what their goals are. I know this is perception. I'm speaking on my perception. But yeah, I'm that typical 54-year-old who's like, man, what's my purpose in the world? What am I going to do? But at least I know I'm surrounded by the right people. And I am fighting this self-control thing big time. Big time.
Yeah, it's hard.
But being around y'all helps. And I love y'all.
We love you too.
Back at you as our 4 balls bounce to you.
In the padded room that we all live in.
All right, well, let's take just a quick break since we're all here recontemplating our existence on the planet. And we'll be right back.
If you're unaware, T-Mobile calls themselves the Un-carrier, which is fitting, considering they've just unraveled their price lock guarantee for new customers. If you ask me, that's pretty uncool. If you're uncomfortable with a company that says one thing but does another, then stick with Xfinity, whose whole home Wi-Fi, wired internet, service, speed, and reliability are unparalleled. Avoid the Un-carrier. Stick with Xfinity. Effective for new customers after 1/17/24. T-Mobile's price lock will only reimburse your last bill if you terminate service due to a price increase.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. With over 122 million parts, you can make sure your number one ride or die stays running smoothly. Brake kits, LED headlights, bumpers, whatever your baby needs, eBay Motors has it. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time. Plus, at these prices, you're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply.
All right, we're back. So this topic brings up an awful lot of stuff. It does for us, and so I'm thinking it must bring up stuff for you listeners out there. It will probably spawn a whole lot of new episode topics, and we'd really love to hear from you if you have any suggestions.
Absolutely. I had this realization the other morning. I feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be. Obviously, I feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be. And I feel like I have a passion for the things I'm learning, even though part of me don't want to have to learn it. But I find it interesting. I find it really cool how synchronicities will happen. And, you know, like, even though it really hurt my feelings to pull those 2 cards, I was sitting there going, oh my God, spirit! You know, I was still like, couldn't believe that it actually happened. And I've come to realize I'm having a difficult time like talking to real people.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Here, Christian and I were just talking about this last night.
INFJ.
Yeah. Yes. People who are, and I'm sure that those of you at home, like thank you, you're our kind of people. So you resonate with what we're talking about, and some of this stuff is probably mirroring in your own life. But people who, like, okay, they're just never going to listen to this. So fuck it. So as we're closing, this person at work. So I teach at the same school for those of you at home. And so we'll eat lunch together. And so sometimes I'll go knock on his classroom door and he'll know that it's me instead of a kid, right? And so I'll just go like, da-da-da, da-da-da, like it's like the Mario noise. Didn't realize that's what it was, but it is. And so then this other person that we work with just comes across and goes, ah, ha, ha, ha. That's how she laughed. That's funny that you have your own little dog so he knows it's you. And then walks off, and Christian comes and opens the door, rolls his eyes, and goes, so easily amused. I'm tired of just existing with people who are easily amused. In the church said amen.
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 Mm-hmm.
I'm easily amused. So don't discount.
And easily amusing.
Yeah.
But you feel like, but it just kind of adds to that feeling of separation. of like having to, like you were talking about with the teaching of like having to really lean into something, because you're not that anyone is better than anyone else. We're just having different experiences. And part of our experience is getting to the point where we are where this is our passion, talking about these kind of things. And you sit there looking at everything from an energy perspective. And then there are people who come at it from victim perspective or from, what's the word? It's owed to me perspective. And you feel like you're neutral observer back here and you're just like, you poor thing. And it's like, how do I relate to them?
Yeah.
Because that's what you want to do is obviously you want to relate to them and help them see they don't have to live life that way, that there is a different lens you can look through, but it's difficult.
Yeah, that was a thought I had yesterday or today. I was thinking about some situation. I don't remember what the situation was now, but I was thinking about how we see each other's issues through the lens of our own experiences. Mm-hmm. We don't see it through theirs because we only have our own experience and we don't know what their situation was and how they process things. So we're seeing it through our experiences. So that maybe it's also part of surrender to know that, we don't know everything. We've had our own experiences, and that's where we come from. We can have compassion or caring about somebody, but we're going to react or have opinions because of what our experience is. You know what I mean? Do y'all know what I mean?
We do. 100%.
Yeah.
I do. I heard this song on the way over this morning and have a little lyric that I feel like I need to read to kind of close this episode out about surrender. And it's by the illustrious Maggie Rogers of Horses. She says, I see horses running wild. I wish I could feel like that for just a minute. Would you come with me or would you resist? Oh, couldn't you just give in? I see horses and I know there's a way. I hear thunder and I start to break. Would you come with me or would you resist? Oh, could you just give in? I believe in you, but the truth about dreams is there a feeling that meets you in between what you want and what you really need.
Chills.
That's beautiful.
It's a great closing.
All right, guys. Well, thank you again for listening to our ramblings on surrender. And again, if you're listening and this topic resonated with you, please leave us a review, give us some feedback, go to our website, give us some comments. All that stuff kind of helps us reach more people. And we will see you on the next episode.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Thank you for joining us today. Please follow and subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Stitcher, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and leave a review. It's so easy to do and such a huge help for us. We appreciate your interactions so much. Want to join us at our table? Make sure to check out our YouTube channel and join our Facebook community. If you've enjoyed this content and wish to support us, take a look at our Patreon page. All information and links will be in our podcast description. Catch you next time.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM. Women's voices amplified.